Oleksandr Usyk has reportedly been busting up sparring partners in preparation for this Anthony Joshua rematch. Now, one of his sparring partners is a Kazakh heavyweight by the name of Amanzalov. And his manager recently spoke to Sky Sports and he said the following. He said, quote, "There are days when Usyk goes to war with Amanzalov. It's not easy to hurt Amanzalov, but he's been on the receiving end a few times. But a lot of his heavyweights have been sent back home if they can't stay in camp. They can't keep up." He says Usyk is in tremendous shape for this camp. He said as soon as Usyk came back from Jeddah from the press conference, the day he arrived back, he phoned up Amanzalov, who was sitting in his hotel, and said to him, "I want you sparring today." Literally got off the plane and started sparring straight away. And Amanzalov said he was in a foul mood. He was in a really angry mood, wanted to go to war. Anthony Joshua is in trouble. Usyk was sending heavyweights 6'6" and whatnot back home. Amanzalov was one of the only heavyweights that he kept on throughout the whole camp because he would actually challenge him and give him a very rough time. From what I understand, there were points where Amanzalov was being told by Usyk, "No, I need you to come on harder. Like, don't hold back, just go to war." Okay, those are the words of Amanzalov's manager. Now, is it possible that this is true? Of course it is. Usyk has been sparring big guys for a very, very long time, big heavyweights. And we saw at the back end of the Anthony Joshua fight that Usyk can be aggressive and have a big guy like AJ literally on the ropes, on the brink of getting stopped. So it doesn't at all surprise me that Usyk is doing this kind of thing in training camp. However, you do have to bear in mind that there's a lot of misdirection that comes out of training camps. I recently watched an interview where Dave Coldwell was talking about the fact. And remember, Dave Coldwell was a professional fighter himself, and he's also been a professional boxing trainer for many, many years. And he was talking about the fact that within a boxing training camp, you often deliberately put out false rumors, lies about what's going on in your camp in order to throw the opposition off the scent. This is a common boxing tactic where they'll come out with rumors about this and rumors about that. Now, I remember when Evander Holyfield fought Mike Tyson and he was sparring with David Tua in the lead up to that fight, the first fight in 1996. And there were contradictory reports coming out about Holyfield and Tua in sparring. There were some people saying that Tua didn't hold up very well in sparring and that Holyfield basically battered him. But then there were other reports saying that it was the other way around and Tua was the one battering Holyfield. And perhaps both things were true. Maybe it was a situation where Tua got the better of it on certain days and Holyfield got the better of it on other days. That could be the case, but it could also be the case that it was only one guy getting the better of it, but they put out a lie, basically, for whatever reason. Let's say Holyfield was actually struggling with Tua. They put out this rumor that Holyfield was actually destroying his sparring partners. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe they wanted to lure Mike Tyson into a full sense of security, and they're the ones that put out the story that Holyfield was actually getting battered by Tua in sparring. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of these kind of mind games that go on in boxing. So you have to bear that in mind with regards to any training camp rumors or whatever the case may be. Because how many times have we heard fighters in the lead up to a fight saying that they've had the best camp ever? Amir Khan was one of the worst for that, right? Best camp ever. It's going to be different this time. And they get in the ring and they look awful. And it's only after the fight they say, "Oh, well, actually, I had this injury and that injury." You weren't talking about these injuries before the fight. And maybe you really did have these injuries, possibly. Maybe you didn't. But, then again, maybe you did. The point is, you can't necessarily take what fighters say about their camps or their trainers or their teams say about their camps at face value. You have to use your discernment. And at the end of the day, if you're not in there, you can't know for absolute certain unless there are multiple witnesses You normally find out more truth about what happened in a training camp after the fact. That's when more of the truth will come out. But in the run-up to a fight, it can be quite difficult to get to the truth, or more difficult to get to the truth. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments below about these rumors coming out of Usyk's training camp, that he's busting up sparring partners, sending people home, and that AJ is in deep, deep trouble. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.